Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of Bold Thinking. Entrepreneurial stories honestly told. In a world full of chaos, this is a podcast about the people making positive change in the world, using bold thinking to transform businesses and themselves. Today I'm speaking to Lior Resnik Gal On, who I first met when she's COO, Corporate Brand and Communications Group at the pharmaceutical giant Teva. We'll be talking more about that later. Lior has over 15 years of experience in the world of health and pharmaceuticals. Not only to mention, she represents one of the world's first e-car brands. These days, she's in the process of building a startup, and I can't wait to hear more about that because I understand it's fascinating. Welcome to Lior, and thanks for joining us. So first off, thanks for joining us in your home in Israel. How are you today?
Thank you. Julia, it's a pleasure to be here and talk to you. It's a shiny day. The sun is shining outside. This is a great weather here in Israel, and I'm really excited to talk to you here.
Brilliant. Well, I've got so many questions to ask you about your amazing career. I want you first to tell me a little bit about yourself and your career and how you got to where you are today.
I would say that I really, really love organizations. I love to feel how they breathe, how I love to have my hand on the pulse, and my business passionate is about transforming visions into functioning realities. This is who I am. As you mentioned, we've met at Teva. I've joined Teva 8 years ago. I left Teva months ago. I've joined Teva to take an active part as part of the globalization program. Teva became a global company. I was the COO. Prior to Teva, I had the privilege to join an amazing initiative to build a better place. It's called Better Place. The purpose was to make a better world with less pollution, using green energy, and accelerate the transformation for electric car. So I was employee number 33, and then it was amazing effort to build from start and trying to really build a company that will be part of, turning the world into a good place. It was so bold. We're talking about bold leaders. It was so bold to truly believe that you can change the car industry. Back then, I was the head of the import and sales operations. So from scratch, taking a vision and building a unit function, import electric cars into Israel. And just prior to Better Place, I was leading the group of marketing delivery. Again, it's really interesting that we're talking about bold brands and bold thinkers. Because back then at Orange, which was the biggest cellular company in Israel, they brought new bold thinking, new customer experience, new setting up a new level of emotional engagement. And I had the privilege to be the group of marketing delivery, and the company kept growing. So you can just imagine what does it mean to be the operations of non-stop growing company, to run fast, to invent yourself always again and again against yourself and against your competition. So this is a very short description of my career.
No, that's fascinating. So with, when you sort of worked at Teva, that's a sort of similar role, isn't it? It's actually making things happen, visionary, at speed, at pace, which, I have to say, working with you're incredibly good at. And I remember when we looked at the scale and the size of the program at Teva, we were quite astounded at the level of ambition, but also the drive and the determination and how successfully and quickly it all happened.
Yes, at Teva, 8 years ago, as part of the globalization program, it was transforming itself from separate 50 markets into one company. And for that, it was to redefine your brand, your identity, who you are. And my role and what we did together was the execution. What does it mean? So we had to retouch every touch point with all our employees and of course customers. Yes, it was doing the unbelievable. So it was ambitious. It was it was not only the effort of delivering this program. It was in the times of uncertainty, as you know. Teva went through some crises along the way, but still we had to keep focus and to build the option to actually deliver for the management, for the senior management, for logistics. And then when we just wanted to finalize the delivery in 2020, COVID came.
Yeah.
And then we had to, again, I think through the partnership with Honest and Principal and a great team at Teva, we could overcome those challenges and find great ways to actually deliver brilliant solution. I think it is when we concluded the program, people kept saying like, you all did the unbelievable. We couldn't believe it. It is really possible. But yes, this is what we did together, and in a very short and efficient way, which is very important in corporates.
And it's such a different business model to, sort of a better place, isn't it, in terms of that automotive versus pharmaceutical? Was there any similarities or differences there?
So everything is similar and everything is different. A pharmaceutical is a very established market, business, very heavy regulation, and the local is crucial. So because you use medicine from your local doctor. So the business model was undergoing, I think pharmaceutical is the last industry, maybe not the last, but one of the last industries that is undergoing this transformation. The, last decade of digital transformation or a customer approach transformation, which came with the digital, because pharmaceutical was complicated, regulated, so it was really difficult to change. And the electric car, although it came through the car industry, which again it's a traditional market, innovation went, although Better Place didn't succeed to deliver the promise, but it planted all the seeds in terms of it's here to stay. Electric cars are here everywhere. So, and the model is completely different because it's you have few big suppliers and then local agencies which market at mainly marketing at a country level. So it's not complicated manufacturing. So it's different and less complicated, but still, in order to drive change, in order to drive innovation, you have to use the same capabilities. Is thinking what we did at Teva and what Shai and the team did, and together with us at Better Place, was based on the same principles of thinking, stepping out perceived boundaries. What we did at Teva with the brand is stepping out perceived boundaries and going toward and pushing toward a very clear purpose and vision. It's the same with electric car, and it's the same with globalization and becoming a more patient-focused pharmaceutical company that we took part of this journey. The whole brand purpose was to be more consumer focused, to understand the people. I think the world is going there. So pharma is going there for sure. The car industry is going there. So the business model was not yes, it's different, but still the elements of driving a change and innovation remain the same elements.
Yeah, I love that. Fascinating. I really want to talk to you a little bit about bold thinking. What does bold thinking mean to you in your life and your career?
I'll answer on my career, and then I'll have having 4 kids is a bold thinking.
True.
I think.
Well done, Mummy.
So I've started to say I think bold thinking is stepping out perceived boundaries for a certain purpose. I think that's the core of boldness. I think it doesn't come in a vacuum. It has to come with acting authentically, to know who you are and drive with a very clear, sharp direction of where we're going. So it's a combination of stepping out the boundaries. You have to be able to imagine the desired future, and with pharma, with electric cars, but you have to have a clear vision outside the existing boundaries, and then act authentically. Invent yourself, invent a new something. Otherwise, it's not bold. And to be considered bold over time, you have to do it over time. Otherwise, you won't achieve anything big. Just consistency and determination. That's the only combination of I think thinking bold. Yeah. Thinking is not enough. Thinking and doing comes together, especially in my career.
Yeah, no, it's really true. There's a big thing at the moment about affirmations and mantras, and I absolutely love that. But equally so, I like the way that people actually action things. You can wish a lot, but you've also got action behind it. So that leads on to the next thing. What's your boldest business idea today? We'd love to hear more about that.
These days, what I'm working, I have I have an idea for a startup. What I dream. My dream is to find new and creative ways of helping improve the lives of seniors through intergenerational connection. I want to bring cutting edge technology together on a platform to enable seniors to transform their life experience into shareable, fun, digital content. I believe this solution, which of course I have a very clear vision of how it should look like, could answer some of the main pains of the senior population these days. So that's, I think is in my career is the boldest business idea.
And have you got a name for this business venture?
Yeah, it's called Story Boom.
Wow, why Story Boom?
The name is Story Boom. Story because it's a story, so, your life experience, seniors' life experience, and boom, because the main purpose is bridging the gaps, the communication gaps between boomers, which is 65 and above, to the millennials or to the younger generations. So it's a combination of store, and it looks amazing. I
love that name.
So that's it's a hook. It's a hook for what we wish for.
Yeah.
And seniors are, they want to share. They want to share their stories. They want to to be able to leave a mark after they leave. So helping them building a true engaging tool, an easy tool, because it has to be easy, can be very helpful for this population.
Yeah.
All the research shows that multi-generation connections helps both the younger generation and the seniors. So, but my main target is the seniors. Mm-hmm. It's now becoming one of the hottest issues to solve. I think technology, brought so many solutions in all industry. And I think until 10 years ago, the senior population was left to, the last to deal with, as to build them a meaningful life and fun so I think it meets both my aspirations, both my needs, my business background, and a real pain and need in the world.
I think it's a great idea. It's interesting. My 81-year-old mother-in-law and my 86-year-old next-door neighbour are both Zoom experts now. And if you just said, like, a year ago, go onto your laptop and start using Zoom, they'd have gone bonkers. And also, there's a really interesting program in the UK called Dragon's Den. And one of the big businesses they invested in last year, the year before, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's basically a business where the guys get together, content writers, and you say to the family, look, as a present for Christmas, I don't know, a few thousand, we'll write your mom or dad's life story in their 70s. Have you heard of that?
Cool. Yeah, so not the UK solution, but this kind of solution is emerging. But I want, based on my digital knowledge as part of the digital transformation at Teva, we learned so much. And together with the knowledge of where does format, the health landscape is going, what is the need of the population, the combination. I want to build a scalable tool. I want to build a friend for the senior for a long term. It's not a one-off.
Yeah.
I want to be, it's very ambitious. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to use this example, but Facebook, when they just built themselves, they were aiming for students when they left home. So they were building their identity, and Facebook grew through the identity of students. And when you're going on, the pension and you leave work, you have to reinvent your identity. I want to bring something meaningful and powerful for this timing.
I think it's brilliant. So with your sort of COO background, how do you make this happen? What's your roadmap or your plan, your timelines, and how does all this work?
So because it's all new, so I know exactly what I should due to my COO background. I know I need a very clear roadmap. But prior to this, what I'm doing now is navigating in the new ecosystem, because building to be able to build a very clear roadmap and understanding all the potential routes, you have to know. So what I do now is navigating and learning the ecosystem of building a product by yourself, an ecosystem of investors. What does it mean? And so I'm now, these days, I'm building the roadmap. I do have, of course, the first two milestones, which are, I want to have the first Israel Innovation Authority has the special loans to give pioneers an opportunity to build prototypes. So this is what I'm now focusing to build to build the first prototype, then to be able to share it, to be able to go to the market.
Yeah.
So it's a new ecosystem. You think when you're a COO of the largest generic company in the world, you think you saw it all, and then you step into a new world, and now the world is completely different, and you have to relearn using all again. What's drive me and is using the capabilities, the instincts, the partnership. You have to build partnership in the ecosystem, in what I build now, I'm trying to build now, or in corporate as a COO. It's all remain on good people working together toward one direction.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm now designing the direction and bringing the partners. I want to go through the journey with them.
So that's fascinating. The two things that I really like about that is, one is that there is a entrepreneurial, I think you use the word grant system. So actually you can apply, is that applied to the government to get funding for these projects? Wow. Yeah.
Exactly. Get initial funding and then to start and run and build the MVP, because my product is focused on consumers, or it's B2C. It's almost like the most complicated product, but so you have to have something work. So I see myself in a year now in a pilot with using some seniors in UK or US, because it has to be English speakers, is the most advanced technology is in English, so you can start in Israel. So that's
fascinating. And I just want to ask you to clarify. It's a word that I hear so over and over and over again at the moment, what ecosystem means in business. And it's interesting. One of the things that we talk to clients about is we've got to build this ecosystem for your brand. And I'd like to understand what you mean by that.
It's a very good question. And I think the answer is the multi-layer environment of all the partners and rules that define your world. So when we were building the digital transformation for the global brand at Teva, we had to understand where are the customers, where are the physicians that we are working with, who is our potential stakeholders, what kind of digital channels we are using, and you build your environment. What is the map that you are playing in? The same with, and so when I'm referring to ecosystem, and I think everyone has to understand, is not in isolation. We're in a connected world with rules and with existing companies, and with there's standard of digital or standards of operations, and so you have to understand the whole picture and then decide where you want to be at that map. So that's when I'm referring to ecosystem in the new startup, is understanding who are the players, what are the different routes the different companies are choosing to walk. What is the different ways to get funding? There's different way, but still there's few. You have to learn them and to understand who you are and what's the best fit to you. So that's what ecosystem is, the best word to a short word to describe the complexity of the world that you are playing in.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I think sometimes, we work with businesses and brands that are very focused on their business and brand, but actually you're right, the ecosystem around them are the customers, the business, the partnerships, the influencers, the stakeholders.
Exactly.
So what do you think people want from brands and businesses today? What are people looking for?
I think the first answer didn't change for ages. They're looking for a emotional connection. Customers now these days needs to be seen, needs to be heard, needs to feel that they are unique. And I think this emotional connection, understanding you as a consumer, whether you're consuming health or you're consuming shoes or lipstick, I think it's all the same. But consumer change dramatically, and the emotional connection is now built over two things. More than two things, of course. But first, to understand you as a customer, and so this is what consumer expect. But as part of the emerging trend of building a better world, I think consumer is expecting now the business businesses to be responsible. I think there's a dramatic shift of I think social media or and other cause that how you act, how you do as a business, what your pollution level, how you equality between women and men is now very important. How you contribute back to the society is crucial. So it's all at the end. It's a combination of knowing the consumer and being responsible. I think that's the expectation, and you can see the shift that this is now the new standard. Responsible business, knowing the customer, but good knowing, and all the technologies now enable businesses to really know you. AI pushes the knowing you into a new level of humanity is driving to a different place these days due to innovation and technology.
No.
So I think that's the expectation.
No, it's fascinating. I think this whole thing about, responsibility, sustainability. I was listening to David Attenborough this morning on one of his Instagram posts, which I think was one of his last ones he's doing live, talking about GDP versus, sustainability and our responsibility. So, Lior, look, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. It was absolutely brilliant and incredibly fascinating. And I'm really can't wait to see how this new business venture, because I think you've got something really unique there. And I think with the COVID at the moment and the introduction of technology to the over 70s and 80s, they've become really quite digitally savvy in the UK. But actually, they're not connected enough to each other because of this. I think you've got something that's a brilliant idea. I'd love to brainstorm with you about just off the record. We can have a little chat.
I'll be happy that you be brainstorm with me.
I would love to. I'm absolutely going to hold you into that. So thank you for listening to Bold's Thinking Entrepreneurial Stories Honestly Told. If this episode has got you thinking, share your comments on LinkedIn, Twitter or Instagram, and links are on the show notes. Or you can contact us at hello@thehonestbrand.com. So join me next time to hear from someone else who's making positive change in the world. Thanks, Lior. That was absolutely fascinating. I loved it. Take care.
Thank you.